This video will cover how to run a basic search in the database Academic Search Complete. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that different databases search for different types of sources. Whereas Search at UW can find both books and articles, Academic Search Complete gives you access to scholarly articles, in addition to popular newspaper and magazine sources. Additionally, databases often search the literature of a particular subject, psychology or chemistry, for example. Academic Search Complete, however, is what we call a multidisciplinary database. It searches a lot of different subjects at the same time. If you don't really know where to start your search, this can be a good go-to database. Hover over the green Resources by Name box on the library's homepage, then select Academic Search Complete to begin. Similar to using Search at UW, it's often best to start with a broad search and then narrow the number of results as you go. It's easier to start with a lot of results, then use the filters to narrow your result list than it is to add all your search terms in at once. If you do that, you may end up with too few results to be useful. Let's use the topic, how does global warming affect developing countries, once again. Similar to Search at UW, we'll begin with a keyword search. In Academic Search Complete, a keyword search finds the words you're searching for anywhere in the record, the title of the article, the summary or abstract of the article, or the subject terms assigned to an article. Let's enter in global warming as our starter search term. Unsurprisingly, we got back quite a few results. By contrast, we could also search under a specific subject, changing the All Fields option on the right to SU subject terms. Each article in this database has already been assigned a word or phrase describing what that article is about. When we search using the subject terms option, we're telling the database to only return results that include those assigned terms. Searching by subject often results in a narrower and more precise search. When you're searching on your own, this type of search is good if you're already sure that your search terms will work in a database. For this example, we're going to stick with the keyword search. Again, we want a lot of results to start with that we can then begin to reduce. Once the search results are returned, there are a few things we can do immediately to start narrowing the number down to a more manageable list. The first we're going to do is to enclose the phrase global warming in quotations. As with Search at UW, if two or more words are enclosed with quotations, the database will search for those words as a phrase rather than as separate words, eliminating some sources from the search. This only kicked out about 15,000 results, so we have to narrow it further. The second strategy to reduce the number of results is to add in another term. With Search at UW, the terms are stacked next to each other. In Academic Search Complete, the different concepts live in different boxes. So next we'll put in the phrase developing countries into the second search box with quotations around the words already. Notice the little and in the drop-down menu between the two search boxes. The and combines the two search phrases together into one search. When and is used, it essentially tells the database to return only the results that contain both the phrase global warming and the phrase developing countries. You may also see that there are two other words in that drop-down menu, or, as well as not. Not is a more advanced feature, which we won't be covering. When searching with or, though, the database will return results which include either of the terms which were entered. This can be helpful if you want to include some of the alternative words or phrases you developed in addition to your starter search terms. Or should generally be used inside a search box rather than from the drop-down menu. As an example, I'll include the phrase climate change in the first box alongside global warming. Now the database knows that either the phrase global warming or climate change are terms we're looking for, but the results still need to include the phrase developing countries. Okay, now we're down already to about 4,700 sources. We could get even fewer results if we wanted, and probably should. A nice number to strive for is around 300 to 500, although you can look through more or less depending on your own personal preference. The top of the screen includes a filter area that lets you choose the type of source, whether it's peer-reviewed, and a publication date range. This can be helpful to use in case you need only scholarly articles, or if you need articles which are more current. If you check the peer reviewed button, you'll get back results which have already gone through the peer review process. Changing the drop-down menu from all dates will allow you to select from sources published within the last year, 5 years, or 10 years. You may select a specific date range beyond those options with the date range option. We'll specify the past 10 years as our date range. 2,400 results is still a bit too high a number to sift through. Just as with Search at UW, we could add in another term. Let's add in the term agriculture to the third box, though, and see where that gets us. Now we have just over 450 results, a manageable set of sources. How do we access any of these articles, though? What can we do if something isn't available? Check out the answers to these questions and more in the next videos.